Hey everybody, it's Mo from MOFO, brought to you by Wasp-Nest Videos. Today I will be talking about multiple anime. Woo! Yeah, so we'll be talking about multiple anime. So, the past month, Crunchyroll and Funimation has released a few of their new anime, and the new anime summer circuit, as I like to call it. Right now, what we have is a boatload of anime, new anime that has come out, and I've been watching said anime for you guys. But I thought I'd just give you my first impressions of these animes. So let's just go ahead and get started, okay? There's no Lisa in between, is there?
There's not gonna be. Yeah, there's no way.
Oh man.
Oh.
Okay, so the first anime I want to talk about is probably one of my favorite animes of this summer. It's called Restaurant to Another World. What this anime is, it's like, okay, so imagine yourself outside, right? You're outside, it's a beautiful meadow, and then there's a door with a cute cat on it, and it says, welcome. You open the door, you hear a bell ring, and there's an old man, or not an old man, a middle-aged man, in a chef's outfit, in a very modern looking restaurant that says, welcome, what would you like to eat? And essentially it's this restaurant that has the power to travel in between worlds. Right now where I'm at, it hasn't specified how that happens or why it happens, but you get to see like a large cast of different people from different worlds, enjoying this guy's cooking. And to me, honestly, that's pretty interesting because it reminds me of a Shokugeki no Soma, which we reviewed a while back ago. This anime is essentially a food genre anime, and obviously they over exaggerate the food. It isn't as absurd as Shokugeki no Soma where it's very lewd and erotic. It's actually like pretty normal anime, and I enjoy it. So the next anime, so imagine you're in high school, you're a young boy, you don't have a girlfriend, and then there's a delinquent type girl, and you're just like, yeah, that's the girl I want. Well, if you ever thought to yourself, you know what, I want a delinquent girl, you should watch this anime called My First Girlfriend is a Gal. And what a gal is essentially a Japanese girl who dyes her hair blonde and is very fabulous and has a certain sense of fashion style, but can also be considered a delinquent. This anime is very fun, however it's very two-dimensional, and like we kind of seen this genre before, but you see another side of the delinquent girl, and honestly that's kind of new, but at the same time it's the same as a love story. Speaking of love stories, there's this anime called Sure Dure Children. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's essentially a 12-15, I believe it's like 12-15 minute episodes. They're up to episode 3. They're a bunch of collective of shorts. Well, not necessarily shorts. It's set in one high school, and then there's a whole bunch of different like love stories going on in between. So everybody's falling in love with each other, and it's so sweet. So you get like all the different tropes falling in love with one another. There's one where there's this female delinquent, she's out smoking a cigarette where she's not supposed to. The class president comes up and sees that she's smoking a cigarette and ends up pretty much blackmailing her, but in a very loving way, I guess. It's a really fun anime, and hands down, I do recommend this one. Actually, all the anime I'm talking about right now, I do recommend because I wouldn't be watching them if I wouldn't be talking to you about them. High school tropes everywhere, okay? So these next 3 animes are all all set in high school. Go figure, it's anime, it's Japan. High school, yay! So there's this anime called Gamers. It's about a video game club where the most popular girl in high school is like the top gamer in her area, and she's really good and talented. And so she tries to recruit this one guy who's only good at turn-based games and phone games, and he's not that good at other games, like competitive games. That's what this whole club is about. The club is about competitive gamers. And with that being said, our main protagonist is not good at competitive games. He's only good at turn-based games. And honestly, I'm excited to see what happens in this series, but you know, from what I'm guessing is that he's going to become a total bad mamma jamma. Have you ever wanted to be in a game show? And in high school? You remember what I said about high school? Yeah, this season's full of them. There's this anime called The Fastest Finger First, and it's about a quiz game show thing where they have little buttons and they push it. That's where the name Fastest Finger First. Don't get that wrong, please, because when I first saw this title, I'm like, what's this about? And I saw the screen, I saw the cover, I'm just like, why is there a large cast for something called like this? I'm intrigued. The name had me intrigued, but then I found out it was about a game show, and I was just like, okay, let's see where this goes. And it's essentially like a sports anime, but for game shows, and how fast you can push the buzzer and answer some trivia questions. That's it for that anime. It's very dull, but at the same time, like, I can't stop watching it. The last anime that the Crunchyroll lineup has to offer this season, for me personally, is Classroom of the Elite. It's about a pristine high school. Get it? High school? Another high school? Do you understand the theme that Crunchyroll's going for this season? High school. Anyways, so it's about this elite high school where, you know, the elite go to. It's kind of like a college campus where they live on the school's ground. They have a limited contact of who they can and cannot talk to outside of school. So, and that was introduced in the first episode. I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, that sounds very interesting. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, you get an allowance. How much is that allowance? 100,000 yen, which translates to $1,000. Which, in my eyes, that's not a lot of money to live off of, but they're high school students, so of course, what do? They buy video games, they buy makeup, they do all the things, and they're acting up, being delinquents, and all of a sudden, they get told you only get an allowance if you behave at the school. So if you do well in your classes, if you're doing A-okay in the class, then guess what? You get an allowance. But if you don't, guess what? No money. And so I'm on episode 2.5 on this series, and what I want to happen so bad is Hunger Games, the anime, but it's slowly just becoming more of a giant study group. And honestly, I just want to see people like, hey bro, can I borrow some money? Like, buy me cup noodles. Bro, can you spot me for lunch? Because that would be College the Anime. See, if it was College the Anime, I would love it a lot more. But however, it's becoming high school study time, or else we don't get money. So that's pretty much So that pretty much wraps it up for the Crunchyroll lineup that I've watched so far. There's only so many hours in the day that I can watch anime. With the in-between, Funimation and Crunchyroll. Funimation and Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll and Funimation. There is one anime that stands up above all the rest, and that is My Hero Academia. It keeps continuing and it keeps getting better. I will talk about this at another time, but I just had to just slide that in. Because if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's highly recommended on my end if you're new to anime and you want to get into shonen anime that's not too shonen anime. And if you're wondering what shonen anime is, it's Dragon Ball Z. But what happens with Dragon Ball Z, it becomes boring. With My Hero Academia, you have amazingness. And that's all I'm going to say in regards to that. Now with Funimation, there's only one anime that's not really new, but it is re-released, and they just started casting out the dub right now, and it's called New Game. What New Game is, it follows a young girl who's fresh out of high school. Out of high school. No. Funimation's doing it right. New Game is about a young girl fresh out of high school who gets a job a job, let me repeat that, a job at her favorite video game production company doing character designs. How the heck are you 18 years old and have a job at your favorite video game production company? That's straight up anime bullcrap right there. But it's about her like learning the skills of what it's like to be a character designer in the game industry, and it's very charming, very moe. It's a girly anime, but I love it. It's cute. And it just follows her and her coworkers and just her living her life. And there's not a whole lot of struggles of like, oh, I need money to pay rent. It's more like, oh, I'm struggling at this job, and you know, I have coworkers who are really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching the past few months. Also, I've been watching a little bit of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to review it soon, so look forward to that. And if you ever need any anime recommendations, go to somebody else. And remember, kids, you can't spell dweeb without weeb. Never gonna get that right. Hello? Hello? It's going. Hold on. Let me put you on speakerphone. You're on the MOFO review show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi.
Explain yourself to the people.
What are you reviewing, babe?
Explain yourself to the people about your absence.
Oh, sorry. I'm at camp, and I'm gonna be camp for a couple more weeks. I've been at camp, and I've done many hours of hard labor, and I've been teaching foot camp merit badges all day, every day. It's kind of fun after a couple of weeks of bug bites and stuff. It sucks. I mean, it's fun.
All right.
So does it.